Good afternoon, everyone. I am Guna Nadarajan, Dean of the Stamps School of Art and Design. I'm delighted to welcome everyone today as we celebrate the Stamps class of 2021. Every year, for over 40 years, we have gathered to celebrate our graduating class, and this year, we gather again to honor that same tradition. The fact that we are gathering virtually will not and cannot diminish our graduates' incredible achievements. This has been yet another difficult year as you work through the challenges of the mix of online and in person classes, along with the anxieties and fears for your safety and that of others. This past year, indeed, called on all your resilience and creativity to persevere and succeed. Today, we honor over 100 undergraduate and graduate students as they embark on their journeys into a world that is slowly returning to pre-pandemic normalcy. I encourage you, our graduates, to celebrate your individual accomplishments with pride while staying grounded in the lessons learned over the past year. Remembering that when we move forward, we do so together, collaboratively, collectively, and in celebration of our differences. Together, we reimagine and create new futures. We honor our accomplishments by activating them in the service of the common good. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the many who have been there to support you in your journeys to this moment. First, I warmly congratulate and thank the faculty at the Stamps School who have guided our students in their creative pursuits with ingenuity and empathy. I thank our staff for their commitment to the success of each of our students and for being fully present through moments of celebration and times of challenge. I also sincerely thank you, the parents and families of our graduates, for believing in and supporting their artistic ambitions. Finally, remember that you as Stamps graduates are members of an exciting and impactful next generation of artists and designers. You also join the over 500,000 alums of the University of Michigan across the globe. The world needs your voice, your perspectives, and your approach much more now than ever before. Best of luck to you as you move forward with courage and heart. Your future begins now. Congratulations.
What's your big idea? What are you willing to spend your moral capital, your intellectual capital, your sweat equity in pursuing outside the walls of the University of Michigan? You have your artistic skills, now develop your ideas, your big idea. Imagination has no limits. The world is looking for the next best thing. Now is your moment to dream big, and don't be afraid to fail, because every failure is a step on the road to success. Courage, grit, and determination. Remember this advice. It will get you through the thorny spots you will encounter as you go through the journey of life. Courage, face the reality head on. Grit, buckle down and just do it. Determination, never let the tough times get you down. And please remember this. Your diploma does not represent the end of your education, but the beginning of your continuing education. Continue to listen and learn with humility, not bravado, because that diploma you hold in your hands today is really just your learner's permit for the rest of the drive through life. Remember, you don't have to be smarter than the next person. All you have to do is be willing to work harder than the next person. You'll soon become alumni of the University of Michigan. You'll be a graduate, which brings a distinctive honor and responsibility. Now go out there and break the rules. Make the world a better place for your being here. Create fantastic art. Design product which will change the way we look at the world. Dream, engage, imagine. Live a glorious and fantastic life, and do it with courage, grit, and determination. Congratulations, graduates.
We are privileged to welcome to our celebration acclaimed artist and Stamps alumna Nikisha Durad. Through public art and large-scale installations, Nikisha seeks to make fully visible that which is often underrepresented or overlooked. From pre-colonial indigenous landscapes of what is now DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C., to the beauty and power of a moment of shared love between two women, to the tragedy of black women murdered by law enforcement. Her works are informed by meticulous research, a deep commitment to engaging communities in challenging conversations through creative practice, and a multidisciplinary practice that spans photography, drawing, sculpture, and a range of other media. In a recent interview with Print Magazine, where she was honored as the Print Artist of the Month, Nikisha best summed up the through line of her work. What a powerful thing that is for someone to be seen, just to be seen as human. Please join me in welcoming Nikisha Durrett.
Dean, faculty, staff, students, family, and friends, good afternoon and congratulations to the University of Michigan Stamps School of Art and Design graduating class of 2021. I'm going to be honest with you. When your dean reached out to me and asked me to write a commencement speech for you all, I really thought that he had emailed the wrong person. You see, I was the youngest in my cohort in the MFA program, and I had applied for graduate school right during my senior year of undergrad at Cooper Union. And I think I probably had just a little too much party left in me. So between scorekeepers and the out bar and even traveling across the border to Windsor, to the gay clubs, it is by some miracle that I actually had a thesis exhibition. Even when I wasn't across the border in Windsor, I lived actually right next door to the Nectarine Ballroom, which I understand is now called Nectos. But I literally lived next door, and there was just like a cinder block wall in between me and the Nectarine. And on Friday nights, the music would really thump loud because it was gay night. And my friends and I would say that the music, the thud of the music sounded like men. So this is what I would hear through my walls, even on a night in. So I somehow would always find myself in the middle of a party, even in my apartment. Professor Carol Jacobson, an amazing human being, artist, scholar, feminist. She would invite these incredible women artists to meet with my cohort. And on this one particular day, I'm sure it was a morning after a very long night out in Windsor, she walks into our tiny studio with none other than the Barbara Kruger. And I am completely starstruck, and I'm just remembering the Barbara Kruger that I learned about and studied in undergrad, and I'm just kind of losing it. And so we all sit around this table, and I'm sure I'm just looking kind of wild, and I said something strange, probably. And I don't remember if Barbara Kruger actually wore glasses, if she wears glasses, but in my memory, I just remember her pushing her glasses down to the tip of her nose and her looking over her glasses at me and saying, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 22. And she goes, "Oh my God, you're a puppy." And sometimes I still feel like that puppy. So I'm not 100% certain that your dean asked the right person, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to try to tell you some things that I wish that someone had said to me when I was about to graduate. You see, the truth is that some small part of you, or maybe even a large part of you, will always be there to tell you that you don't belong, that somehow you were the wrong person that was chosen to have your work in Times Square, that every other artist was busy when you were asked to be the cover artist for a serious design magazine, that you were grossly unqualified for your Rackham Fellowship to the University of Michigan or a full scholarship to the Cooper Union. I want to tell you right now that you belong here, right where you're sitting. You belong here. There are no imposters here. Whew, now that we've gotten that out of the way, the path that has led you here is not a straight one. It will at times feel like you're moving, but that you're not moving forward, but rather you're circling backward. In Ghana, there are a number of ideograms. The one that really sticks with me is the principle of Sankofa. The principle of Sankofa is that you know where you've been so that you know where you're going. And with Sankofa, the image is of a bird who has a long neck and is looking over its back and has something in its beak. So that bird is reaching back and taking something to bring forward. It is the wisdom of learning from the past that ensures a really strong future. Looking back, I can see how my path has not been a straight line. Parents, you are not going to like what I'm about to tell you, especially if your graduate has quarantined with you for part or maybe even all of this year. Those months leading up to graduation, I had grand plans. I was going to move to LA and I was going to be a fashion photographer. Or was it that I was going to go? I was going to go to New York. I was going to go to New York and I was going to be a photojournalist. And I was going to do a little freelance graphic design on the side. And I was also going to have a studio and I was going to make paintings. And I was going to get picked up by a blue chip gallery. And all of this was going to happen in about 6 months. 6 months, a year tops. The problem with all of this was that all of these plans that I had were all in my head. I had not reached out to one friend. I didn't send my portfolio to anyone. I had made not one actionable move toward making any of this happen. So after graduation, after having listened to a commencement speech, kind of like this one, I went with my family and we had a celebratory dinner and we loaded up the family van and drove right down to Maryland, where I lived with my parents in my childhood bedroom for probably about 2.5 years. And I made not one photograph, not one drawing until about 2003. And I graduated in the class, I was in the class of 2000. My family lives about half an hour outside of Washington, D.C., and a lot of my family members have found secure jobs in the federal government. My family was really supportive of my art career, but there was also a lot of pressure there to find a secure job. And for me at that time, being 23, security was not front of mind. What was front of mind for my parents was me moving out of my childhood bedroom and my mom having a woman cave. Eventually, I did land a job at the Smithsonian Institution. And for those of you that don't know, the Smithsonian actually is a part of the Department of Interior, which would make it, yes, a government entity. So I had a good government job, just like my parents wanted. And somehow I made it work. I was working in a graphic shop and I was making really large scale photo murals and text panels. And I actually started to imagine myself making work again and started thinking about what my work would look like at these large scales, room filling installations. And then I started to think about all of the ways throughout my life I may have felt small or as though my story didn't matter. And when I started to think about my work taking up so much space, it actually wasn't that scary at all. Parents, you will be happy to know that eventually I did move out of my parents' house. My mom did get her woman cave, and in fact, they built a whole new, brand new house. So your future is looking bright. And more importantly, graduates, eventually I did actually find my voice as an artist. Slowly, I was able to amplify that voice. But in order to do that, I had to reach back. I will take the principle of Sankofa a step further with a quote from writer Ocean Vuong. We travel through time in a circular trajectory, our distance increasing from an epicenter, only to return again one circle removed. We are traveling in a spiral. We are creating something new from what is gone. This is out of our control, no matter how it seems. We are always traveling, moving in conversation with the past. Living as an adult in my childhood bedroom, teaching in the school where I was once a student, having my work displayed in a museum where I used to work, writing a commencement speech for my alma mater. In so many ways, my journey, my life has felt like time travel. So must yours. Fill your beak along the way and bring forward a new harvest for each rotation. I draw a lot of inspiration from the natural world, both in my work and just in kind of the way that I move through the world. And there was a recent discovery, like really recent, of a so-called wood wide web. And that is a mouthful to say. On the surface, if you were hiking through the woods, you would assume that all of these trees are kind of taking care of themselves. But beneath the trees, beneath the forest floor, there is this invisible network of fungi and bacteria, an invisible network that connects all of these trees that you see before you in the forest. If one tree is ailing, another tree is able to send nutrients through the soil to this other tree on the other side of the forest to heal that particular tree. And so it makes me ask, how do we take care of each other? A year ago, our lives, as we knew them, changed. We were separated from our friends, separated from our families. We were forced to live inside of our homes because of a deadly virus. One person caught that virus, passed it on to another person. That person passed it on to someone else. That person passed it on to someone else. So if that does not tell you how interconnected we all are, I really don't know what does. If one of us are ailing, we all are ailing. How will we take care of one another? Some of you will move rapidly along your spiral. You may head up a big design firm. You may be a curator in a museum. From your vantage point, you will be able to see clearly around your conference room table. From that vantage point, you must ask yourself, who is not there? Who is not represented? Who doesn't have a voice? And if you're really paying attention to the world, you can ask yourself, historically, who has been the most harmed? And you will invite those people to your table. As you set out to design our world and paint our future, and coronavirus fades from our collective memory, remember to tell this story, the one that we learned when everything slowed down, the one where all the trees in the forest were not really standing alone, but rather they were all holding each other up. The best opportunities I've had along the way have come from real human connection and not from doing either of these two things. Networking. Networking is not a real thing. Building authentic, lasting relationships with people you actually like is real. If you have a crazy idea that you can't pull off on your own, your friends will help you, and maybe even your students will help you, and you would return this kindness. Number 2, sending my portfolio to a museum or a gallery. I don't even know, is that a thing? Do people do that anymore? I don't know. Just make work, tell your story, tell it to as many people as that will listen. Those human beings that you met while not networking will invite you to be in a show that they curated, or ask you to illustrate a book that they've written, or design the packaging for their energy drink. And you, in turn, would do the same. Unlike the experience of toiling over this speech, for whatever reason, I did not think that I needed to write down my thesis for my graduate exhibition. And it showed. It was a rambling mess. So when I visualize that moment, I can almost feel myself on this spiral, brushing up against the past. And I can clearly see myself sitting here and see myself sitting there in the lecture hall, delivering my thesis. And I just remember saying a lot about storytelling. Although looking at my thesis today, there's nothing there that is really about storytelling. And so perhaps in 2000, when I was delivering my thesis, I was actually seeing me, the puppy, and me, the 45-year-old woman, telling you to tell your stories. The best ones, the best stories, have been sidelined, told in passing, or altogether untold. Tell your stories. Make space for others to tell their story. Even if you never see anyone from your cohort again, you take them with you. I don't know where your path is going, and neither do you, but I would like for you to do something for me. I know that all of you probably have a group chat or some way of keeping in touch with everyone in your cohort. I would like for you to pull out your phone right now, and I would like for you to send this message to everyone in your cohort. I will get there, and when I get there, you will be with me.
Thanks for the words of wisdom, Nikisha. I want to turn our attention to a loss in our community last year, our friend and fellow art and design student, Athurba. He made such an impact on all of us during our time together at Stamps, and his light will continue to shine bright in us throughout our days.
According to Plato, art is just an imitation of nature, and to imitate is to move away from the ideal form, and therefore from the truth. I don't believe that. I think that the truth is not easy for all to see in its ideal form. Through these imitations, artists can show others the truth. I've seen people every day of my life, yet when I draw the human body, I start to notice curves and structures that I never drew attention to before. It's quite an idyllic way for me to just focus and observe the elegance of nature for what it truly is. I try to make what I draw as true to its actual form as possible. I have sort of this algorithm that plays in my mind as I keep on measuring the space in front of me and putting it on a flat surface. I haven't been drawing as much as my peers, but they've described my art as a heavy monsoon in a dry desert. I tell them it's because when I draw, I imitate. But I don't imitate everything, just a certain side I'd like to show.
Congratulations to the recipients of the Stamps 2021 Commencement Awards. Their creativity, drive, and perseverance would be heartening under any circumstances, but are particularly bold and inspiring given the current challenges they have embraced and through which they have prevailed. In memory of alumna Penny W. Stamps, and provided with generous support from the Stamps family, friends, and other supporters in the community, the Big Idea Award provides $25,000 to a Stamps senior or a team of Stamps seniors to help launch a major, ambitious project after graduation, a project that calls on the student or team to commit their moral and intellectual capital to their big idea. The 2021 award winner, Phoebe Danaher. This award recognizes a student who is passionate in their creative voice and area of focus, inspirational to those in their community, committed and determined to have a positive impact, and is a talented storyteller. The 2021 award winner, Destiny T. Riley. This award honors a student who understood and embraced the MDES program goals and will be a strong ambassador for our program in the world as nominated by MDES faculty. The 2021 award winner, Laria Young. This award honors MFA students whose work was recognized for excellence by the 2021 MFA thesis jurors, Jane Jin Kaysen, Sarah Rose Sharp, and Amanda McDonald Crowley. The 2021 award winner, Benjamin Winans, with an honorable mention for Ray Jiang. This award recognizes two students who are deemed to have the best BA project in their graduating class. The 2021 award winners, Eloise Jansen, Maggie Robick. This award is being given to two graduating Stamps seniors to recognize their writing and research during the integrative project course. During a time when there was limited access to studios and challenges to making work, these students engaged with research and reflection that not only informed their work, but transformed their practice. The 2021 award winners, Allison Burns and Noah Casper. This award recognizes two BFA students in each IP section who are deemed to have exceptional integrative project outcomes and processes. The 2021 award winners, for Section 1, Natalie Geisinger and Eliana Harrison. Section 2, Ansley Hamilton and Elizabeth Stubbs. Section 3, Stephanie Bloom and Carly Lucas. Section 4, Madison Fox and Lila Mullison. And Section 5, Maggie McConnell and Carson Schenk. This award recognizes an outstanding student as nominated by faculty. The selected student is a strong representation of the values of the Stamps School of Art and Design and demonstrates excellence in quality of work, scholarship, and their contributions to the school and their community. The 2021 award winner, Juliet Mandel. The Candy R. Way Prize for International Studies in Art and Design is awarded to 4 Stamp seniors every year in recognition of exemplary art influenced by their international experience. The 2021 award winners are Emily Greatorex, Lila Mollison, Mac Realo, and Seth St. Pierre. Summa cum laude honors are given to undergraduate students whose cumulative grade point average places them in the top 3% of the graduating class. The 2021 honorees are Willa Hoa, Juliet Mandel, Ryan Sevaleski, and Marin Tarnowski. As America's most prestigious honor society, Phi Beta Kappa has celebrated excellence in the liberal arts and sciences and championed free thought since 1776. The 2021 honoree is Phoebe Danaher. As the Associate Dean of Academic Programs at the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design, I have the distinct privilege of recognizing this year's recipients of the Master of Design in Integrative Design and Master of Fine Arts degrees. This year's MFA graduates participated in dynamic creative work and research that challenged us all to embrace Heartened Surfaces, the title of their thesis exhibition. Through their work, we witnessed an autobiographical narrative navigating assault, pregnancy, the isolation of quarantine, and fear of motherhood. We pondered a transposed space generated from a graphite drawing into an immersive spatial encounter. We found solace in space and in spaciousness. We engaged with a social sculpture, fictitious politician's persona, and short films that explore identity, culture, and diaspora. We embraced recontextualized diasporic individuals' shame, otherness, legacy, and the power of sharing collective trauma. And we tested our relationships to history to reveal greater societal undercurrents, which asked us to imagine reckoning and reconciliation. This year's MDes graduates mastered design research methodologies through hands-on, real-world projects. Through deep collaboration with constituents, stakeholders, and partners from the corporate and the nonprofit sectors, they worked as a team to address equity and access as it relates to food systems. They examined ways to help improve food security, discovered complex policy landscapes, hosted virtual design charrettes, thousands of hours of interviews, and uncovered opportunities for design interventions, embracing the importance of complexity. They iterated on opportunities to give students a voice in designing equitable and sustainable cafeteria systems and worked to empower youth to become change agents. They designed the tools others could then use to try to make change. They held space with multiple collaborators, engaged in inventory mapping, expert interviews, customer surveys, and focus groups, and helped develop an online food system with a mission of amplifying the positive values of Black-led urban agriculture. These 7 master's students have received significant awards, grants, public recognition, and accolades. They have served Stamps as research assistants, instructors, and departmental assistants. They've been invited guest speakers, campus collaborators, research initiators, imagination specialists, and much, much more. These students have inspired me on a personal level and have risen to the challenges before them admirably. This life milestone is unfolding in a historic context, and while there's distress attached to that fact, I hope there's also space for creative connections and joy. A dedicated group of faculty served as the thesis committee chairs for today's master's graduates, and I would like to acknowledge their contributions, their generosity of time, energy, expertise, and insight which enrich the students' experience. Thank you for making this important contribution to their development in disciplines and areas within visual arts. The MDes thesis chairs include Ron English for Kisa V. Johnson and Sophia Bruckner for Najwat Raymond and Laria Young. The MFA thesis chairs include Sophia Bruckner for Christine Bruning, Andy Poskovich for Nathan Byrne, Carol Jacobson for Ray Zhang, and Jim Cogswell for Benjamin Winans. Now I would like to recognize the graduate degree recipients. MDes in Integrative Design degree recipients include Kisa V. Johnson, Najwat Raymond, and Laria Young. The MFA in Art degree recipients include Christine Bruning, Nathan Byrne, Ray Zhang, and Benjamin Winans. Congratulations to all of you. I look forward to following your highly anticipated accomplishments as colleagues and collaborators.
My name is Veronica Falandino, and as the Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Admissions and Student Services at the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design, I have the distinct privilege of recognizing this year's undergraduate members of the Stamps class of 2021, as well as our graduates from the summer and fall of 2020. These students have shown creative problem-solving, ingenuity, and integrity throughout their time at the Stamps School. Their creative practice and commitment to the greater good serves as an inspiration to all of us. Stampers, you have met the unique challenges of your time with remarkable resilience. You have found ways to share your heart and your craft with us despite forces that threaten to disconnect us. With your strength, persistence, and deep care, you are ready for what lies ahead. You've worked hard and you have made it to this day. I am so proud of each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see what you go on to do next. The Bachelor of Fine Arts graduates include Maggie Abel, Lizzie Albinson, Emily Albright, Dante Betch, Molly Biss, Stephanie Bloom, Isabella Brand, Tyler Brown, Rachel Buck, Jay Campbell, Stephen Campbell, Sarah Carrier, Noah Casper, Edward Cohen, Emily Considine, Grace Koodle, Phoebe Danaher, Alexa DeFord, Anna DeLuca, Daniel Drew, Jaeger Edwards, Mary Finch, Madison Fox, Hayden Gordon, Kate Grabowski, Emily Greatorex, Miriam Greenberg, Emma Greenbaum, Emma Greshik, Natalie Geisinger, Kai Hamill, Ansley Hamilton, Eliana Harrison, Cassie Hoisington, Ashley Holland, Junpyo Hong, Jenna Johnson, Kaylee Johnson, Sarah Kenward, Helen Lee, Sun Jae Lee, Hannah Levine Drizzen, Sophie Levitt, Ellie Levy, Chingwen Jenny Lee, Stephanie Lee, Sophie Linden, Carly Lucas, Juliette Mandel, Claire Manor, Valerie Matula, Gwendolyn McCartney, Maggie McConnell, Justina McCormick, Maddie McFarland, Megan McMurray, Lindsay Mintz, Orville Mohi, Lila Mullison, Alice Monroe, Gwyneth Murray, Maya Neidick, Yuki Obayashi, Abby Olson, Riley Parrish, Tracy Powell, Olivia Prado, Mac Riallo, Josiah Rentschler, Sadie Reuter, Destiny T. Riley, Victoria Rinaldi, Jenna Sheen, Carson Schenk, Roy Schmidt, Margaret Sheridan, Jonah Schifrin, Liana Smale, Claire Smith, Sophia Stark, Lena Stein, Elizabeth Stubbs, Amanda Taylor, Conrad Tenwold, Madeline Vervac, Ethan Walker, Elizabeth Ward, Allie Wynn, Sophia Zerktuk, Renee Tsu. The Bachelor of Arts graduates include Shira Barron, Emily Bartlett, Joshua Brown, Xiaoyu Che, Sophia Chen, Mackenzie Cole, Ariana Dang, Anna Dinardi, Franklin DeBrusen, Hafsa Gias, Daisy Hall, Kinsey Harvey, Mackenzie Hewitt, Willa Hua, Katie Huang, Elizabeth Hungerman, Eloise Jansen, Athurva Karkar, Minsun Kim, Mackenzie King, Renette Correa, Jordan LeMaid, Valerie Lay, Angelique Lemro, Dakota Derek Nicholas Jr. Lewis, Joseph Lico, Ariel Lowenstern, Catherine Majeski, Nicholas McIntyre, Juliette Myers, Lauren Page, Shrinali Patel, Judah Pemble, Maggie Roback, Elise Robinson, Sabrina Schwartzberg, Craig Sims, Sylvia Sinsaba, Ryan Zavaleski, Seth St. Pierre, Marin Tarnowski, Caitlin Vanderyat, Caleb Walden, Zachary Williams, Molly Wu, Lucy Zhang, Abigail Zembrowski. The InterArts performance graduates include Allie Burns, David Forsey, Jerene Ishmael, Rhett Shepard. Congratulations to the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design Class of 2021 and to our summer and winter 2020 graduates.